The next question would be, what's the virtue? I want to be amongst the patient. I want to learn all the lessons in Surat Yusuf, inshallah, so I want to be amongst the patients. What shall I get if I will be amongst the patient? What's the first thing? First thing, the reward will be doubled from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And listen to this beautiful verse in the Qur'an. It's one of my favorite verses that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, and it's Surah Al-Zumar, verse number 10. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِنَّمَا يُوَفَّى الصَّابِرُونَ أَجْرَهُمْ بِغَيْرِ حِسَابٍ. The patient will be taken right away to paradise without reckoning. What about this? People will be standing there and they will be scared. They don't know what will happen to them. But the patient will go directly. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, without reckoning. بِغَيْرِ حِسَابٍ. Some of the other interpreters, they said, بِغَيْرِ حِسَابٍ means, the amount of deeds that you have done in this life wouldn't deserve the status that you will be in paradise. And this is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala treats us. But how do we treat Him back when He gives us everything? The second reward is ma'iyatullah, meaning the company of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Can you imagine that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be your company if you are amongst the patient? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned this in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 153. Allah said, إِنَّ اللَّهَ مَعَ الصَّابِرِينَ. Indeed, Allah is with those who are patient. This is the second virtue. Look at that reward. Ma'iyatullah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the third reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is you will be granted the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allahu Akbar. Allah will love you if you are amongst the patient. And the verses in Al Imran, surah number 3, and the verses 146. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ الصَّابِرِينَ. Verily, indeed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves those who are patient. Look at those three rewards from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in one verse. You know the verses that we read before? وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to test us. This is 155 in Surah Al-Baqarah. 156, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala defined those who are patient. Those who would say, we belong to Allah and to Him shall be our return. The next verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving the patient three rewards. Write them down. He said, أُولَٰئِكَ عَلَيْهِمْ صَلَوَاتٌ مِّن رَبِّهِمْ. You will deserve salah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this means forgiveness. وَرَحْمَةٌ, mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُهْتَدُونَ. And you'll get the guidance. You'll get the hidayah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.